Hello, how are you? This is your crazy menopausal gal from Abilene, and you're here with me and Suzanne, the devil woman. How is
Hey,
everybody doing
hi.
tonight? We have a really awesome show. We have been doing some research, and we are so excited. So, we are going to be talking about killer kids. What makes killer kids? All right, we've got some people jumping on. Awesome. When you jump on, let us know. Say hello.
Give us some
You got
hearts, thumbs
yeah,
up.
give us some
Let us
hearts and
know
some
you're
thumbs up.
here.
So we've done some research, and I am going to let Suzanne start. Um, this I've always been infatuated. Well, y'all know this. Hey. I've always been infatuated with this kind of stuff, but it's amazing to me. It's crazy to me, that someone can actually kill. But then you got these kids that are killers.
Right.
That is just like what makes
A
them. Are they
totally
born
different
that way?
level.
Are they born with the devil in them? Are they the bad seed of the family? Are they? A lot of them are abused, but there's some that are not, and there are that are very well off, and they're just
Yeah.
spoiled brats. So anyway, we're going to look at some stuff tonight, and if y'all have any questions, holler, let us know. Hey, Susan, Teresa, Wayne Higgins is on. Hey, Wayne, how are you? How is everybody doing? So let's get this started. And if you would, I would appreciate if you would give us some thumbs, some hearts, and SHARE the video onto y'all's page, or invite your friends. That would be awesome, because that's how we're going to grow this business. And not business, but this, what do you call it?
Group
This
page.
group. Yeah.
That's how
Okay,
we
so
go. Grow this group.
Suzanne, if you would like, you could go ahead and start, because we have a lot of information.
We've got lots and lots of kids too. I mean, before this, I didn't realize that there were that many children killers out there. Some of
Right.
them, like Jody said, some of them, you think they were that way because they were abused or had some sort of,
Mental,
backstory of
or yeah.
being something traumatic happening to them. However, there are some who have no traumatic background and they were loved, just like with parents who wanted nothing but the best for them and they just went on a killing spree.
Just like okay, for
I've got,
instance, like that. What is those Mendez boys? In that their names?
oh yeah, the
Mendez.
Menendez twins when they
Yes,
got older.
they say that they was sexually abused. Who knows if that's true or not? I think they was just really spoiled brats.
Right.
I really do. But anyway, go
Right.
ahead and
So
start.
I've got a couple of them here. Some of them are a little bit older, some of them are newer or more recent, I should say. The youngest one that I've researched was 8 years old, and his name, I don't know if I'm saying this right because I don't. I read it as Carol Edward Pohl, but I think it's actually Carl Edward Pohl because it's spelled Carroll. So I think it's Carl, or it's pronounced Carl. And he was actually 8 years old when he committed his first murder. And the then after he committed the first murder at 8, he went on 15 years later uh, to commit 15 other murders. So, but nobody knew about the first murder until he started confessing about he had started killing when he was 8 years old. So that one was really cool. Um, it said he killed, I think it was one child When he was 8, it was another child, and the other ones were women.
Wow.
And he did this back in 1948. 1948 is when he was caught. He since has been deceased. But that also brings me to another subject, and I'm not trying to get off subject, about whether they can be rehabilitated and then put back into society, or if it's just something that subsides and then reemerges again. Because, and that's a whole other topic. That's just something that I have picked up on. One that's kind of more recent. There's one.
Can I stop you real fast?
I don't know.
Can I stop you real fast before you start on? You just spoke about that 8-year-old. I also have an 8-year-old. And this one was, he's from another country, but he was 8 years old, okay? And I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. It's like A-M-A-R-D, I'm sorry, A-M-A-R-D is what his first name is. And his last name is S-A-D-A, and he was eight years old. He killed 3 babies. He was a small built kid. So that was how he got by with it. He wanted to kill, and he like literally killed these babies. So he killed a 6-month-old cousin. He killed his 8-month-old sister, and then he killed his 6-month-old neighbor's kid. He showed no remorse whatsoever. He was sent to a children's home until he was 18. He was diagnosed as a sadist, and that is when it derives pleasure from seeing others in pain.
Yeah, sadist.
And that is the only thing that I was able to pull up on him. But again, he showed no remorse. Can somebody like that be let out?
Right. And see, and that's what I was going to say. The Carl Cole, he was sentenced to go to a boys' home, or like a boys' school is what they call, like reformatory school is what it said. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's like a boys or boarding school or something of some sorts. And when he turned 21, he was released. So, you know, that gives you the timeline. As soon as he was released, he killed these 15 other people. You know, was he really reformed, or was it just abide by the rules until I get out and can do whatever I want to do once I'm out?
Yeah.
Now, I do have a different one. And I don't know if if we can say their names or not.
Well, I mean, if it's public knowledge, then yeah, I would go ahead and say it. I mean,
okay. So the reason I said the Carl, because he's deceased. This one is Kyle Allwood. He was 9 years old when he committed the murders, and he's currently in custody, but he's in like a juvenile detention center, and it says that he will be released when he's 23. I don't know what year that's going to be, but he was charged with 5 deaths. And what happened was he set the trailer house or mobile home on fire and watched it burn. And there was 3 3-year-olds, 3 kids under the age of 3. There was 1 female that was the age 69 and 1 male that was 34. And he watched them burn. And this one, again, no backstory of any type of abuse or anything. As a matter of fact, it says him and his mother were the only 2 that survived that fire that were able to make it out.
Does it say anything about the mother? I mean, did she ever speak about it or
I didn't read much on the mother. I was just more into
on
him
the kid?
being
Okay.
9 years old, yeah, and starting the
Yeah,
fire.
that's
But
crazy.
again, but again, at 23, who's to say that he's not gonna have the infatuation of starting another fire
Well,
and just
yeah, I mean, it's
oh
okay, not only is he a murderer, but now he loves fire. So there's two different things that the world has to worry about when he's released. I mean,
right.
come on. I mean,
And
I
again, a
think
whole
I
nother
mean, yeah, that's a whole different subject.
that's me a whole nother topic on that is
Yeah.
on there. It states that once he's 23 and he's released, his record gets to be expunged. So anything that happened before he turns 23, like that fire, will no longer be on his record. Like when they pull up and to do a background check, is not going to be on there. And to me, that's a whole other subject of why they do that, because I think that's important information, especially if like when he gets out, he's trying to rent an apartment. I think I want to know if the person renting next to me is a pyro maniac. You know what I mean? But
yeah. Hey, Sean. So I have one here.
Yeah.
Oh, are you done with that one?
Oh yeah, I'm done. I was reading.
Sorry, I just
I was reading Sonic's comment that says seriously separated from reality, and yeah, they do seem to have like a separation from reality.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, it's like it's either okay, do they have some kind of screws loose? I mean, some of the most intelligent people are serial killers. I mean, so it's like I like Ted Bundy. I mean, of course, that's another subject. But anyway, I mean, something's off. I mean, it's either I think most of these kids have to be born just being a bad seed.
Right.
Either that or they've seen some really bad stuff.
Right, because me at 8, 9 years old, I think I was still playing with Barbie dolls outside.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. You don't even
walking around with Barbie convertible. I didn't have time to think about killing people or that just didn't cross your mind.
So this one that a moth just flew into my eyeball. Hey, Freddie, how are you? Yeah, Shauna said they start out by killing animals, and at least that is what they say anyways. Yes, they start out with small stuff, and they get, I guess, that thrill or that high from it. So there's several that I wanted to talk about too, but this first one that I was going to say, you remember the freckle face killer? Do you remember him? Okay, it was in 93 in Savannah, New York. He was 13, I believe. 13 years old. He killed a 4-year-old little boy. That little boy's name was Derek. And this is what the mother quoted. Okay, and this is something I don't understand either. He was 4 years old. The mom lets him walk down to the next block. 4 years old. He walks down to the next block, and then this kid, the little freckle-faced killer, Eric Smith, he coaxed him into going into the woods with him.
Yeah. Okay, I think I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, okay. If you remember, he's freckle-faced. He wore these big glasses and everything, had red hair. He strangled him and then beat him to death with rocks. In 94, he was tried as an adult and he was sentenced to 9 years to life. He was just released After 28 years, he is now 42 years old, and he's living in Queens, New York. He was diagnosed with intermittent
Intermittent
yeah, explosive disorder.
disorder.
Okay, that word right there, explosive disorder. They let this person out to roam the streets. Supposedly.
Okay, here I get that, but here's my thing. I deal with people who have that diagnosis just about every day, and they're not going out committing murders. Though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when you hear explosive, it's like, okay, anything could set them off. Is what right? And
yes.
Susan was like, he'll snap again. Yeah, and guess what? He wants to get married and have kids. That's his goal. That's what he said. That's what he wants to do. He wants to find somebody, get married, and have kids.
See, and to me, this is that double-edged sword because, I mean, yes, he did his time. Yes, he was younger. But how do you deny him the benefit of the doubt? You got to give him the chance to see. And that's the worst part of it for me, because you have to give him a chance to prove that he's no longer got these urges or whatever. But if he does it again, then you're stuck with that on your conscience, knowing that you gave him the benefit of the doubt and he did it again.
Yeah.
You know, that's me. Is there a specific or scientific way to tell whether they will commit the crime again,
really?
Or go on to progress worse?
Wow. That
would be.
But honestly, though, I mean, yes, he did his time, and yes, you know, supposedly he's fine now, but how would you tell what woman would sit there and say, yeah, I'll marry you? If you knew the facts, could you marry someone and have kids with that person that did that?
Is that for me? I mean, so for me, that's a negative ghost driver. I mean, that, yeah. But to me, I assimilate that with like someone who is like a pedo. Someone who is a pedo, done their time, they say they're reformed and they want to get married and have kids. Well, how can you trust them? I mean, you can't. You cannot trust them.
Ginger. Let's see. Susan said, I'm trying to keep up with everything here. So what is genetic? And Shauna said, yeah. Now this kid is going to lose it. Yeah, I think he's going to lose it too. So there's that one. And also you got to look at it like this too. The younger ones that are 8 years old and younger, they're still little, and you know they might have a chance to be reformed or whatever. But I think the older kids, like this Eric Smith, he was 13 years old, and yeah, he did his time and stuff. He knew what he was doing.
Right. At 13, you are fully comprehending, able to comprehend what is right, what is wrong. You know, I totally get that. Jonica says, but American people like that because they're obsessed with prisoners and they didn't tell them, and then they fall in love and they are just stupid, basically. But that seems to be a good thing. Totally get that.
Yeah. Hi, Christine. We have Christine Snow. She's watching. So this has always just been amazing. I've always been just fascinated with it.
Right. And like I said, to me, I don't know that I couldn't trust somebody like that, but I'm not a very trusting person to begin with anyway.
Right.
To me, you got to earn it before I don't just free willingly give my trust out to anybody. That's everybody. But like I said, I assimilate that or associate that with like a pedophile. They could say they're reformed or they no longer do that. How can you trust that person to be alone with another child? How can you?
I wouldn't. Yeah. No, I wouldn't.
Right.
I would have a major problem with it.
Right. To me, I couldn't. And be getting married, how could you bring yourself to be intimate with that person knowing what they've done? That's because that's being very, very vulnerable. So
no,
that's why I say you cannot do that. You know what I mean?
And I also believe if you are married to that person, you know what's going on. And if you know that what's going on, you're just as guilty as they are because you're letting it happen.
Yes.
And I think that that person needs to go to jail with the actual person because it's just that's a whole nother subject. But anyway, what else you got for us?
Yes. And I get that, but that's just the way I always think. And it's horrible. It's horrible thinking on my end because I guess that's why I don't have that trust issue with people or whatever is because I'm constantly thinking about that. I mean, normal people could go to Walmart and say, hey, I got to take my child to the bathroom, here, and they go to the family bathroom. That should be a normal thing. And for me, because I'm not a trusting person, my flags automatically go up like, no, something's going on. And there could be nothing wrong with it.
I'm totally opposite. I'm totally opposite. I'm a trusting person. It's like, okay, let's and dumb me, here I go along, just like what the hell I'm doing,
Right. Now
it's too late. But I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think they I just don't know. I hope to God I don't actually know someone that has murdered somebody.
Right.
I really hope I don't. Can you imagine? What would you do if you found out? Like, what if you was watching one of those FBI Most Wanted things and you see somebody in your family or one of your friends that's on the Most Wanted? I would absolutely flip.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, I used to spend the night there at the house. And now they're murderers. No, the last person that I have, or the last child that I have is actually 10 years old. Now, this one actually does have a background of being abused and by abused, I mean physically hurt, abused. And his name was Joseph Hall. He was 10 years old when he killed his dad. His dad, it does say that the reason that he stated for shooting his dad was that he was tired of him hitting him and his stepmother. Now,
I can see that. Something like that, I can see. I mean, if he's, he's a kid, and how old did you say he was? 10?
He was 10.
And I can see him trying to protect his mom, or his family. I can see that happening. He had like, I'm not saying a reason or an excuse to, but I could see that happening more than just a kid just walking up to somebody and killing them,
Right.
What happened to him?
He's actually incarcerated. He will be out when he gets 21. His record will be expunged. However, what I was trying to get out with this was that it says that 2 days prior to him shooting his dad had actually threatened him. And the dad, they said, was a neo-Nazi person and believed in the white supremacy. Yeah. And 2 days before he actually shot him, the dad had actually threatened to take out the batteries from the smoke detectors in the house and had told him and the stepmom that he was going to burn the house down. So I think with that in mind, but still, how do you make that decision as a child? He was grooming the little boy. I say grooming because it says that he was teaching him how to use night vision goggles and a gun. So in a way, I see that as grooming him, preparing him
sure.
to become a murderer, to go down that path. And no, I don't believe all parents that teach their kids how to use guns are teaching them to be murderers, because there's proper gun.
Yeah, girl, I was hunting. Daddy bought me my first gun when I was 9 years old, and I used to go hunting with him every year. And I go ballistic every once in a while, but I don't actually go kill someone. I mean, Susan Wright said, a kid I grew up with committed murder in his 20s.
Right. So and you never know. I mean,
yeah, that's just, I'd be flipping out and going, oh my God, I know them. Oh my
God. But every time I think about that, I think about Billy Madison, that movie Billy Madison with Adam Sandler, when he goes back to school and he calls that guy. He's like, hey, I'm sorry. And then he marks his name off the list, the hit list. That's what I think of.
I love that movie. Yeah. So what happened to him?
He's incarcerated, and he will be incarcerated to the age of 21, and then his record will be expunged.
So I have a couple here that I found. February 23rd, 14-year-old girl. This was just recently. A 14-year-old girl beat her mother to death with a frying pan because she was scolded for not doing the dishes. She is now currently in a correctional home. There has to be more to the story. That's all the story that there is. There is no name or anything or where it's at or anything. There has to be more to the story, and I'm sure it's probably still
pending or under investigation.
Yeah. But okay, so I don't like doing dishes either, but I don't go around thinking about beating somebody's head in with a frying pan. I mean, I'm not laughing about it. It's just amazing to me.
It's just crazy. Yeah. And to me, in my head, what goes through my head was the mother that was scolding her, over the dishes. I mean, I couldn't see. I can't comprehend that she didn't see it coming. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a very trusting person.
Yeah.
I don't trust people. And you have to read the signs. I'm sure the little girl was upset and probably cussing beforehand. But then again, I'm also one of those people that you're not going to get an advantage over me. Hence the name Devil Woman, because I don't trust. Right. I will always have the upper hand. And if I don't, I'm going to go down trying.
So I have another girl here. Her name is Mary Bell. She was 11 years old. She killed 2 people. She's from the United Kingdom. She is known as the Tyneside Strangler. She had extensive physical and sexual abuse from a very, very early age. I mean, she was 11 when she did this. 10 years later, she was released. She is living in an unknown location, and she is living with her daughter.
Oh, wow.
Now, I'm not saying that I'm condoning that. but I can see something like that happening more than I can see just somebody going out and just
It's
killing
just
somebody
randomly.
for the fun of it. You know,
Right.
if somebody is physically and sexually abusing you, or like your mom or your little sister or your little brother or whatever, you know, and you're trying to keep them safe. Yeah, I'm not condoning it, but I can see that. I can see it more logical. You know, I mean, it
Right.
just, this other stuff I don't know. It just makes no sense to me.
Right. And I think that's what Shauna was saying about them not being or them being in a different reality, because I mean, to survive that kind of abuse, you have to mentally put yourself in a different state of mind to be able to handle what is happening to you and to keep going. You know what I mean? Not to just give up, or, you know, I think you have to disassociate. You have to disassociate with what's going on to be able to keep dealing with that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same thing like with these
I'm gonna
kidnappers.
mute and turn my camera off real quick because I got to blow my nose.
Okay, it's to me, it's like the same thing with these kidnappers that take these kids. What's that girl that lived with their kidnappers for like I don't know, y'all. Help me out here. I can't remember what 20 years later, and she finally gets out of it, and she has 2 kids with this guy. They kept her in the backyard with in like a little shed. My mind just went blank. Suzanne, hurry up and blow your nose.
I remember that.
I cannot think of her name.
I don't remember what her name was, but yes, I remember hearing about that. And they went to some college or whatever. Yeah, because he had a wife and her, and she went to some college or whatever, and that's where she realized that they were still looking for her too. I remember that, and she had like several kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
Again, how do you come out of that not screwed up and your kid screwed up?
Yes.
I have one more. Her name is Jasmine Richardson. She's 12 years old. She murdered her entire family.
Wow.
She has been released. She served 10 years. And now she's released after she slashed her little 8-year-old brother neck with a knife, left him to die in there on his bed, and just waited there until her boyfriend, who was older than her, oh, and by the way, 12 years old now, the boyfriend ended up killing her parents for her.
Oh, wow. And for that matter,
the reason being is because her parents was upset because he was so much older than she was, which is understandable. She was only 12. So is
that the one where the boyfriend was 23 years old?
Yeah, 22, yeah.
22, 23.
Yeah.
And I get that, because as a parent, who lets their 12-year-old date a 23-year-old? I mean, again, that comes down to grooming. There's nothing a 23-year-old has in common with the 12-year-old. That's pure grooming that child to your liking.
Hey, Katie, how are you?
And I can see that the parents saying, hey, you cannot, see this person, date this person or whatever. I can totally see that. Now, what I'd like to know, or if they could ever do the further research, was it the boyfriend's idea that planted it in her head to kill her family?
Right.
Or was it her,
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that it was his idea.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like it's grooming.
But honest to God, 12 years old. I mean, slashing your 8-year-old brother's throat. I mean, there's not a good way to kill anybody, but that
is really severe.
Wow. I mean, that's just really I just can't wrap my head around it. When I read that, I was just like, holy crap, I mean, if you're going to do it, there'd be so many other ways to do it, but that to me, that's just horrible. I mean, any of it's horrible, but that's just beyond.
Right.
Hey, Penny,
to me, that's horrible. To me, that's horrible because you're face to face with that part, with your brother, your sibling.
Yes.
And to slash the throat and watch the life and blood flow out of him. I mean, that to me, I get where you're coming from on that.
And he apparently he was gargling, like.
Oh, see, I could.
I mean, that takes some balls. That takes some really screwed up. To
major disassociation.
Yeah. And even if it was the boyfriend, which, like you said, I probably was, because get this. Okay, so her boyfriend stabbed her parents. As of 2021, she got out of prison. As of 2021, the 22-year-old now is living in a secret location. Her boyfriend adopted the persona of a 300-year-old werewolf and always wore a vial of blood.
I read that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because she thought he was a 300-year-old werewolf.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Twilight. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, I don't know. I just when I read that about her.
See, but but then again, I mean, if you believe that you're a werewolf, or the child believes in werewolves, and to that extent that you're going to go kill your parents, that's living in an alternate reality. I mean, that's not living in.
Yeah, that's
what
true.
I mean. That's not being here,
but
dealing rationally with.
So I don't know what happened to him. But I don't think she needs to be out either. Honest to God, I mean that's brutal murder. That is a brutal murder. Murder. I don't know what has happened to him. I did not read about him because he wasn't actually a kid.
The child.
So that I didn't want to go there. But like you said, he had to be the brains behind it.
Right. Somebody, and more than likely it would be. And more than likely, it was the adult that was the brains behind that. Because I don't know, I couldn't see a 12-year-old making that much sense.
So you have this guy that's killed these people, and who knows if he hasn't killed other people.
Right.
But he has the persona. He believes he's a 300-year-old werewolf and wears a vial of blood everywhere he goes. Would you let him back out in society?
No, but I'm going to bring this up. Okay, so wearing the vial of blood, was it not Angelina Jolie that had
and Billy Bob
Thornton?
Yeah.
Again, actresses and actors that make it normal to wear or do stuff like that.
Hey,
You
Pamela.
know,
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. I see what you're saying. And they see that,
they
and they're like, okay, well, if they do it, then
oh
I can do
yeah,
it
the
too.
Hollywood stars do
Yeah,
it. Let's normalize this. Why is this weird? If they do it, why can't we do it?
yeah,
Again, another one of those. If they jump off a bridge, are you going to jump off of a bridge too?
yeah.
My answer would
No,
be, do I have a parachute?
I just, oh my Lord, it's crazy to think that. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I think there is, this is a whole different subject, but I think that stuff like this, when you know that they are they believe that they're a completely different person, or they have powers, or even pedophiles. And this is a whole different subject, but I don't think that we need to be supplying food and everything else for them to live. They need to be put away. And if it means 6 foot under, so be it. I'm totally against the way that we keep all these people in jail and never, it's like a spa to them.
That is one of our subjects, though. One of our subjects, the living conditions of prisoners and stuff that they get.
Yes.
So that would be a great thing to reference to come back to at a future subject.
Susan Wright said supernatural being.
I don't think there was anything super or natural about that being.
Yeah, no, I think they're just full of the devil. I mean, like I said earlier, like the little boy. When did the little boy?
They have to be full of something, because that they're not spitting out the truth. A bunch of, they're going to say whatever they can to lure their victims.
Yeah.
Or to get their victims into a vulnerable position to be able to do the things that they do.
Yeah.
They get cell phones in prison now? What? Shauna said that LOL, now they even get cell phones in some prisons.
Girl, it's like it's a spa day.
I thought that was contraband in prison.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's crazy.
Susan said Hotel Protel.
Yeah. Well, you definitely need to get on the night that we discuss this crap about the justice system and keeping up the inmates.
The conditions of the prisoners. I really do think that. Yeah, I think that's going to be a really good subject.
Yeah.
To do. Yeah. Like I said, not to veer completely off subject, but I think that Maricopa County, they have the right idea in there. That's in Arizona. That's got some of the hottest temperatures, and I like some of the ideas that they do.
I honest to God believe that, Alcatraz is another place that I have totally been infatuated with my whole life. I've always wanted to go, not there to stay, but just go to visit, but I think literally these murderers, these perverts, these, all these that are in that category, and without a shadow of a doubt that they did it, I think they need to go to an island.
Well, here's what I have always said. Here's what I've always said. All these, illegals that are coming in, Afghanis, all these people that we take in, we're always complaining that we don't have room, that we do not have room. Here's what I said. Alaska's got a lot of undiscovered property or land that's part of the United States. Why can't we send them up there and let them conquer or, get that land developed? Let them figure out and do it out in that area.
Mm-hmm. Or kill off the prisoners that are on death row and free up some prison space and let them stay in there.
That's true. I don't know. And that's another one too. How do we depopulate the prison system? You know, what do we have to do to get people to say, hey, that's bad. I'm not going to jail. I don't want to go to jail.
How about if we don't
Capital
give them all the what?
Capital punishment.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I've said before. If we went back to the old days to where, okay, we're going to have a public hanging today, you know, and line them up. You know, how about bringing old Sparky back out? You know, let's they know that they can get by with 99% of the crap, and so therefore they're going to continue doing it. Well, let's go to jail. We get free, you know, we get free meals, we get free TV, we get free, you know.
And that's what I think a lot of the problem is too there. And I know, like I said, I know we're very off topic, but I think for like some of the homeless people, I think committing a crime isn't far out of their realm, because why would you not commit a crime to get caught where you're homeless and then they're going to send you to jail? What, you're going to send me to a warm place where I get 3 meals a day and possibly watch TV? I just don't have to fight with others, you know, be on good behavior. So I totally get that. Shauna said that somebody get conjugal visits.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they still do that.
Yeah, I knew that. I like Jonica's way of thinking. Do you see what she said?
I'm scrolling down. It's an ice row. Let the families of the victims of death row inmates kill them the way they killed their loved ones. That's a good one too.
An eye for an eye, right?
I don't know if I'm so much an eye for an eye, but I mean, I think that would be a great like Hunger Game.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And see, that's me. I think Texas needs to, along with some of these other ones, put that express lane in. And I get that people are getting a chance to appeal because a lot of these cases didn't have DNA evidence back in the day, and now that's exonerating some people and things like that. I totally get that. But if you were close enough to the case to get involved or to even be a suspect, then something is wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And where was I going?
Jonica said, my niece and her boyfriend were murdered 17 years ago, and the Elfers are still alive sitting on death row. Yeah.
Right.
That's our justice system for you.
Yes. And so like depopulating for like petty theft. We have so many people in jail for petty theft. You know, and I know that we talk about the Taliban and all these people there, but when they steal something, they pull out that machete and they chop a hand off.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you witness your friend that just stole something and their hand got chopped off, I'll be like, I was just playing, I'll put it back.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the mafia has a good way of doing stuff, you know. I mean, okay. You know, screw with me or my family, and guess what's going to happen? And then send you a head, you know, in the mail, you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and I know that's really way off subject where we started off with the child killers. Yeah. But I mean, we got some of these topics coming up. Y'all's input would be great on it. We'll let y'all know ahead of time.
Exactly, Sarah. Sarah just brought up a really good point. Exactly. You have so many in jail for drugs, get more time than those that commit murder. Yes. That is such a screwed up, you know, that's just so screwed up. I get 25 years for smuggling some wacky weed, and then, you know, go over there and commit a murder and then get out in 10, 15 years, you know? I mean, that doesn't make no sense whatsoever.
Ooh, you should come to Eastman County and see some of them charges that we got going out here. But yet, Mr. Ideal Meth and got caught with
Sarah.
get caught with 9 grams, and we just give them probation and let them come back and keep repeat offending. Some of them, I think it depends on what it is that what drugs they have on them, the amount that they have on them, to determine how long they should be gone. Or better yet, why are we not offering them like drug rehabilitation? Again, sorry, that's getting us off topic and into other things that I think we should do within our criminal justice system.
So Sarah was like, Eric Smith, child killer, just got paroled. Sarah, actually, that was one of my first ones that I talked about. He just got paroled back in February, wasn't it? Isn't that what I said?
So Sarah's in Eastland County, so she's well aware of Mr. I got caught with meth.
Actually, Suzanne, she lives over outside of Cisco.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not too far from you.
You're cool. And I get that. And that is just one thing that has ate up our county really bad. That's hitting this whole country really bad, is that meth epidemic.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, he was released in February after 28 years. He's 42 years old now. He's living in Queens. It's bull crap, right? I don't know. I mean, and the very first thing he says that he wants to do is find a wife and have children. That's what we was talking about a while ago. Who in their right mind is going to say, I fell in love with a killer and we're going to have kids? And, I mean, who does that?
Right. I'm not trying to cut you off, Miss Jody, but I just noticed our time. We're at 51 minutes, and we got to stay under an hour to be able to post to our YouTube channel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Which we are going to put the link in our comments for the YouTube channel, which is Seriously WTF Facts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Seriously WTF Facts. So you can find us on YouTube, y'all. We are going big. We are on YouTube now. But y'all, we need y'all's help because we need lots of love and thumbs up and shares. And everybody go over to the YouTube and let's start following that also.
Yes, subscribe.
Yes, subscribe.
We are trying to get to 200 members, which I congratulate you guys. Y'all have got us to where we are now. We're like at 170 something members, 75, maybe 180. I haven't checked here in like the last 10 minutes or so. But I mean, thanks to you guys. Y'all have gotten us that big. We need our YouTube channel to get that big, so that way we can start broadcasting live from YouTube as well. So not only can we do Facebook, we'll be able to do YouTube as well.
Yes. And also on YouTube, we can get a little bit more graphic if we wanted to. It's not so it's not like Facebook, of course. So we can discuss more stuff on a deeper scale if we want to. And
I don't know if I put that link in there right. I think is it going to be www.seriouslyWTFFacts.com or at YouTube? At YouTube.com or
YouTube.com, I believe. And also everything that we talked about tonight in this episode, we're going to put the links down there in the comments. That way y'all can go look it up, because some of these, we mentioned 2 8-year-olds that killed, 10-year-old, 13-year-old, 12-year-old. It's crazy. And that's just a few. I didn't realize how many, like Suzanne said, there's a lot out there that.
Right. And what I researched was just specific to the United States. I
Yeah.
didn't even go into the other countries where they
Yeah.
have younger kids that commit murder.
It's so crazy. Crazy. Well, y'all,
All
thank
right.
y'all
Well,
so
thank
much for hopping on. And we love doing this. We love hanging out with y'all. And y'all, if y'all like this setup, like Shauna and Mark went on an hour ahead of us, they touched on a completely different subject,
different
UFO.
subject.
We did this. So if y'all like this setup, let us know by giving us some thumbs up, hearts. Even in the comments, let us know how much you like it. That way we can continue doing the stuff that y'all like, okay? Because we
Yes.
don't want to give y'all
And I
subjects
want
that
to
you
say
don't want.
thank you to those of y'all who took time to do the poll and actually
Yes,
vote on the poll that we put up. I
yes,
definitely
yes,
appreciate that. That definitely helps us out to see what you guys are liking and not liking in the group.
yes. And I think that would be a good thing to start doing.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the week, we'll start doing polls, and y'all jump in there and do them and let us know, what y'all think.
Right.
Thank y'all so much, y'all. Hey, by the way, keep sharing and inviting your friends, because when we hit 200 people, we're going to do a drawing. Once we hit 500 people, we're going to do a bigger drawing. So like, share, go over to the YouTube and start following us. And I'm excited. I love doing this, y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging with y'all. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and y'all stay safe. And
I can't wait to be back next week doing the same thing. Love y'all.
Yes.
See y'all later.
Love y'all.